to start with wall slides. So we're going to have the patient move into flexion as they're gliding their foot down the wall. This is working on range of motion and flexion. I'm going to make sure that the hips and back stay on the table and that they're in line. And we're going to have them do 3 sets of 12 these exercises. So next we're going to do prone hangs. So we're going to have the patient turn and lay prone on the table. They are going to have their knees off the table because we don't want the extra pressure on the knees, and this is working on range of motion for extension. And they're going to lay here for 7 minutes. Next exercise is towel slides. So we're going to work on range of motion, reflection, and extension. The patient's going to be sitting with their back flat against the wall, and they are going to hold the towel and pull their leg up into flexion, and then fully extend it after that, and make sure that they are not leaning at all in the exercise, and we will be doing 3 sets of 12. Okay, our next exercise will be quad contractions. We're going to be working on simple re-education and firing of the quad. So we're going to have him contract his quad, trying as hard as possible, and we're going to do 3 sets of 25 each of these. And then our next one will be extension swishes, and we're going to have him contract and extend with the roll pre-wrap underneath his knee, and make sure he squishes the pre-wrap, so we're focusing on really extending the knee and contracting the muscle. We're going to make sure he's not just using his calf at all, and that he's really using his quad. And he'll be doing 3 sets of 30. Next exercise is going to be walking. We're focusing on good gait. We're going to focus on proper gait with a focus on him extending fully. Make sure he's doing the heel to toe gait. Alright, so now we'll be doing forward leg raises. So first we're going to start with just straight leg raise, have him lift his leg up a little bit, back against the wall, down, and then do that for 3 sets of 10. And then we're going to have him internally rotate his hip and isolate the VMO, and then have him lift his leg like that. And then also do 3 sets of 8 for that leg. And then we're going to have him lay on his side facing that way. And then you're going to have bend this knee. Wait, no, this is the last one. Yeah, okay. So he's going to abduct this leg, come up. There you go. And then have him flip over, facing me. And then bend this knee up like this. And this way you can focus on abducting this leg. So put that up. And he'll do 3 sets of 8 for this one as well. And now we'll be doing bridges. So we're going to have him lift his butt off the table, focusing on quad contraction and control. And make sure to make the body straight and hold this for about 3 to 5 seconds. And he'll be doing 3 sets of 10 for each of them. Now we'll be doing shorter quad contractions. We're going to have him focus on controlling his quad muscle and contracting it. So we're going to contract. Make sure he's not using his calf muscle in this and just focusing on the quad. And he'll be doing 3 sets of 10 each of these. And then we will end the beginning protocol with biking, and we'll be focusing on range of motion and cardio, and making sure it's at a very low intensity, and you'll be doing it for about 10 to 12 minutes.
Okay, so in our intermediate phase, we're at 3 to 4 weeks, and our first exercise we're going to do is a sitting leg contraction, leg extension. So the patient is going to raise their leg out, and then fully extend, and then go back down. In this, we're focusing on quad contraction and control of the extension, making sure that the athlete is straightening their leg completely, and then also resisting on the way back down. We are going to perform this for 3 sets of 10. And then in our next exercise, I'm going to be stand up and turn and face the table. And the patient is going to be doing calf raises. In this, we're focusing on the gastroc strength and strengthening the entire leg as a whole. We're going to make sure that her leg is completely straight and that she's holding 2 seconds at the top of the calf raise. And she's going to do this for 4 sets of 8. Okay, so in our next exercise, we're going to do a 3-way TheraBand leg raise, which is standing. And so the patient is gonna raise their leg out with resistance from the band. In this, we're making sure that her leg is completely straight, both legs, also the supporting one, and that she's resisting on the way back down. And then she's gonna turn and also do this to the side. And then turn again and do it to the back. And this is gonna be 3 sets of 10. Okay, so for our next exercise, we're gonna work on balance and catching. Mostly just strengthening and increasing control in the injured leg. The first thing we're gonna do is just a straight catch, so I'll have her stand on her injured leg, making sure that her knee's bent so she has better balance, and just gonna throw the ball to her and have her throw it back. And that's gonna be our first exercise. Then as we progress, I'm gonna start throwing the ball to the side so it's not as easy for her. So up in the corner, and then down. Okay, so to further the balance and catching exercise, make it a little bit harder and a little bit more sport specific, we're gonna have her head the ball. So again, she's gonna be standing on her injured leg with her leg bent enough so she actually has better balance. And during this, we're just gonna make sure her knee is over her ankle so she's not using a valgus force at all, and that just that little offset of balance, she's able to control that. Okay, and then during this, as we progress and she gets better at it, we'll move from this hard surface to a soft surface, and then also then to a Bosu ball. So for our next exercise, we're gonna have our patient do Bosu ball lunges. While she's doing this, we're just making sure she has good balance and good control, making sure that she keeps her eyes up and that her knee is over her ankle the entire time, and she's not wavering from side to side, but straight on the ball. And we will have her do this for 3 sets of 10. Okay, so for our next exercise, we're going to have our patient do TRS mountain climber. During this, we're going to make sure that she is keeping her butt down and keeping her body straight. And also using her back to bring her knees all the way to 90. She's going to do this for 30 seconds, rest, 30 seconds, rest. And we're working on upper body strength and core. So for our next exercise, we're going to do cup pickups. In this exercise, she's going to be standing on her injured leg, bending and picking up the cups that are around her. In this, we're focusing on quad control and quad strength and balance. And when she does this, we're going to make sure that she's actually bending all the way down and not just reaching with her arms. And then also keeping her knee right over her ankle. She will do the semicircle 3 times. Okay, so for our next exercise, we're going to do balancing on the half foam roller. In this, her injured leg is going to be in the back. What we're focusing on is that ankle stability and balance. We're going to make sure that her eyes are up and that her legs are straight and she's not falling over to either of the sides. And to progress this, as it gets easy, we can start throwing like balls at her. We can even be tapping her, pushing her over a little bit, asking her to catch things. And she'll do this, she'll hold it for 30 seconds, rest, and continue that. So our next exercise is going to be monster walks. So we're going to take a TheraBand and have her wrap it around her thighs. And then we're going to have her in like a squatted down position, and she's going to be walking with her legs swooping outwards like a monster walk. In this, we're going to make sure that she's staying in that bent position, her eyes are up. She's using her control to go forward and her strength, and then we can also have her squat back down and go backwards with this as well. We'll have her do this down and back twice. And then for our last exercise in the intermediate phase is to work on her core. It's going to be a Russian twist. And when we're doing this, we're just going to make sure that her body is at a 25-degree angle and that she's using her core, she's not shaking, and her legs are up off the ground. And she'll do this 25 times.